Today, we are standing on the edge of a goodbye, a cosmic farewell that will never be repeated. And the hardest truth isn't that it's leaving, it's that we weren't ready. December 19th, 2025. Mark this date. Right now, as you listen to this, a visitor from the deepest reaches of the galaxy is making its closest approach to Earth. It's out there, roughly 270 million kilometers away, a silent traveler cutting through the dark. They call it 3I Atlas. The 3I stands for the third interstellar object ever detected by humanity, the third ghost to pass through our system, following Oumuamua and Borisov. But 3I Atlas is different. It's not just a rock. It's not just a comet. It is a riddle wrapped in ice and something else. Something that has defied our best models and left astronomers arguing in the corridors of observatories from Chile to Hawaii. And while we argue, it accelerates. While we debate funding for interceptor missions that don't exist yet, it slips through our fingers. NASA and the European Space Agency have been tracking it since July. They've pointed Hubble, James Webb, and the Mars orbiters at it. They've analyzed its light, its speed, its trajectory, and the official report is comforting. They say it's a natural object, a comet rich in carbon, venting gas as it was warmed by our sun. Case closed? Not quite. Because as 3I Atlas accelerates away from us, heading back into the interstellar void from which it came, it is taking its secrets with it. Secrets that we are only just beginning to glimpse. And the terrifying truth is, we are running out of time to understand them. We built our telescopes to look at stars that stay put, not ghosts that fly by at 30 kilometers per second. Once it passes Jupiter's orbit in March 2026, it will fade into the black, gone forever. We will never see it again. So today, we are not just going to recite the press releases. We are going to look at the anomalies, the data points that don't fit, the things that make you wonder if we are looking at a geological oddity, or technology we simply cannot comprehend. And we have to ask ourselves, did we just miss the most important phone call in history because we didn't pick up the receiver fast enough? Let's start with the latest bombshell. The news that just broke. Methanol. You might know it as wood alcohol. Simple, flammable, toxic. But on 3I Atlas, it's not just present. It is pouring out of it. New data from the ALMA radio telescope in Chile has revealed something staggering. This object is venting methanol gas at a rate of 40 kilograms per second. Let that sink in. 40 kilograms. Every single second. That is a massive amount. It is significantly higher than what we see in comets born in our own solar system. Why is this strange? Because comets are usually time capsules. They hold the chemistry of the star system they were born in. If 3I Atlas is spewing this much methanol, it means it was born in a place very different from our solar system. A place with a different chemical recipe. Some scientists have proposed a fascinating theory. They suggest that this methanol abundance could be a sign that the comet formed in a metal-rich environment. They think that as water penetrates the core, it reacts with iron compounds to produce methanol. Iron. Metal. Hold that thought. A metal-rich interior. A dark, crusty surface that has been baked by cosmic rays for millions of years, hiding a metallic heart. Avi Loeb, the Harvard astronomer who famously suggested Oumuamua might be artificial, has been watching 3I Atlas closely. He's asked the question that makes everyone uncomfortable. Is it possible that what we are seeing isn't just venting? If you were a traveler moving between stars and you needed to correct your course, or perhaps vent waste heat or propellant, what would that look like to a primitive telescope millions of miles away? Would it look like a jet of gas? Would it look like a comet tail? We know that 3I Atlas has developed tails. Not just one, two. A dust tail and a rare anti-tail pointing towards the sun. But back in November, observers noted something else. Complex structures, jets, 4 or 5 distinct streams of material shooting out in different directions. Nature is chaotic, but jets that look like stabilizers, jets that turn on and off, and then there is the color. When we first saw it, it was red, a deep, dark red, typical of objects that have been weathered by cosmic radiation for eons. Then, as it approached the sun, it turned green. Okay, that happens. Diatomic carbon burns green. We've seen that before. But then, it turned blue. In late October, just after its closest brush with the sun, images showed a shift to a blue hue. Scientists say this is due to ionized gases, specifically nitrogen and carbon molecules, glowing in the intense solar wind. A teardrop-shaped cocoon of blue dust. But a chameleon object? One that shifts from the red of a dead rock to the blue of a high-energy plasma wake? It's almost as if it was reacting to our star, waking up. And speaking of waking up, let's talk about the heartbeat. On November 10th, the internet went wild. Rumors flew that 3I Atlas was transmitting, that a radio signal had been detected. The astronomers were quick to debunk it. They used the Meerkat telescope in South Africa. They confirmed they detected radio emissions, frequencies around 1665 and 1667 megahertz. But they said, relax, it's natural. They explained it as maser emission from hydroxyl radicals. Basically, the sun's UV light breaks down water molecules, and the resulting OH particles glow in radio waves. A natural laser, a cosmic hum. But here's the thing about the natural explanation. It relies on the assumption that the object is natural. If you assume it's a comet, the signal is a maser. But if you didn't know it was a comet, if you just heard a steady, continuous radio hum coming from an object moving at 210,000 kilometers per hour, would you be so sure? We are listening to the exhaust noise of a celestial engine and calling it weather. And this is the tragedy of 3I Atlas. We are seeing these clues. The methanol, the metal, the jets, the radio hum, and we are fitting them into the boxes we already have. We label it comet because that is safe, because the alternative is too big to handle. But what if the box is wrong? We missed the moment of closest contact with the sun. It happened on October 29th. The comet was hidden in the sun's glare. We were blind. When it emerged, it was brighter. It was blue. It had survived a thermal encounter that should have torn a loose pile of rubble apart. It didn't break. It didn't crumble. It just powered up. Now, it is passing us. It is 1.8 astronomical units away. Safe. Yes. But distant. We can't send a probe to catch it. We don't have the speed. We can only watch from our windows as the train leaves the station. And as it goes, it leaves us with the biggest mystery of all. A mystery hidden in the darkness of its origin. Where did it come from? We traced its orbit back. It didn't come from the Oort cloud. It didn't come from the Kuiper belt. It came from deep space. It has been drifting for millions, maybe billions of years. Imagine the things it has seen. Imagine the stars it has passed. Is it a seed of life? Some scientists think so. They call it panspermia. The idea that comets like this carry the building blocks of biology, water, carbon, methanol, from system to system, pollinating the galaxy. If that's true, then 3I Atlas isn't a visitor. It's a gardener. And we are just one flower bed it is checking on. But there is a darker possibility, one that we won't find in the NASA press releases. What if it's a scout? What if the anomalies, the course corrections, the resilience to heat, the specific venting of fuel like methanol are not accidents? We will never know, because in a few months, it will be a ghost again, a faint smudge in the telescopes, and then nothing, just the empty dark But before it goes, there is one more thing we need to discuss. Something that was spotted in the latest images from the Mars orbiters. Something that suggests 3I Atlas might not be alone. Let's go back to Mars. October 1st, the comet passed within 30 million kilometers of the red planet. This was our first close encounter. NASA's Perseverance rover, the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, and ESA's ExoMars were all watching. They saw a faint glow, a ghost in the Martian sky. But what they didn't see is just as important. They didn't see the massive, chaotic breakup that usually happens when a dirty snowball gets that close to the inner solar system. 3I Atlas held it together, and then the tails appeared. Not just the dust trail left behind like exhaust. On October 19th, the Keck Observatory in Hawaii spotted something rare. An anti-tail. A spike of light pointing directly towards the sun. Now, standard physics has an explanation. It's a trick of perspective. A geometric illusion caused by the Earth crossing the comet's orbital plane. We see the dust disk edge on. It's a valid scientific theory. But look at it with different eyes for a second. If you were piloting a vessel and you were diving towards a star, using its gravity to slingshot yourself back out into the dark, and you needed to stabilize, you might fire a thruster forward, against the motion, towards the sun. Visually, an anti-tail looks exactly like a braking maneuver. And we know it maneuvered. This is the detail that keeps the orbital dynamicists awake at night. As 3I Atlas left its perihelion, its closest point to the sun, it didn't differ much from its predicted path. But it did differ. There was a shift, a deviation of about 4 arcseconds. NASA calls this non-gravitational acceleration. It's normal for comets. The gas shooting out acts like a rocket engine, pushing the rock slightly off course. It's the rocket effect. But here's the catch. Usually, that outgassing is chaotic. It tumbles the comet. It spins it wild. 3 Atlas, it remained remarkably stable. It took the push, corrected its course, and kept flying smooth. Avi Loeb pointed this out. He noted that the lack of a massive, visible tail early on, combined with this precise movement, is convenient. And what is it made of? We talked about the methanol. But what is holding that methanol inside? New studies suggest the surface of 3I Atlas is covered in a dark, dense crust, a shell up to 20 meters thick. This isn't just dust. This is a shield. Scientists believe this crust was formed by galactic cosmic ray processing. Basically, this object has been traveling through the void between stars for so long, millions of years, that the high-energy radiation has baked its outer layer into a hard, carbon-rich asphalt. Think about that. A 20-meter thick hull of hardened carbon. It protects the volatile ices inside. It stops them from boiling off too quickly. It allowed the object to survive the intense heat of our sun without disintegrating. Is it a natural formation? Probably. The universe is good at making tough shells, but it also looks suspiciously like a heat shield. If you were building a probe to survive millions of years of interstellar travel, to pass through different star systems, to endure radiation and heat, you wouldn't build it out of shiny metal. You would build it out of something that can take a beating, something that hardens with age. This dark crust hides everything. We can't see the surface features. We can't see craters. We can't see if there are structures. We just see this dark, baked armor. And inside that armor, the methanol, the water, the building blocks of life, or the fuel for the journey. We are looking at a traveler that is armored against the cosmos, carrying a payload of high-energy chemicals, stabilizing itself with jets, and humming in the radio spectrum. And we are letting it go. We have no choice. It is moving at 30 kilometers per second relative to the sun, on a hyperbolic trajectory that will fling it out of the solar system forever. By March 2026, it will cross the orbit of Jupiter. By 2030, it will be gone from our planetary neighborhood. We will never know what is under that crust. We will never know if that radio hum was a signal or a song of dying water molecules. But there is one final theory we need to consider. A theory that connects 3I Atlas to something that happened here on Earth almost 50 years ago. A signal from the past. Do you remember the WOW signal? 1977. A strong, narrowband radio burst detected by the Big Ear telescope. It came from the constellation Sagittarius. It lasted 72 seconds and was never heard again. Guess where 3I Atlas came from? If you trace its orbit back, way back, it aligns with the same region of the sky. Is it a coincidence? The universe is full of them. But what if 3I Atlas isn't just passing through? What if it has been here before? Or what if it sent a message ahead of its arrival? Let's pull on that thread. The WOW signal, 1977. A burst of radio waves on the hydrogen line, the universal frequency of hydrogen, the most common element in the universe. Now, 3I Atlas is humming on the hydroxyl line. Hydrogen plus hydroxyl equals water. H plus OH equals H2O. If you were designing a beacon to announce your arrival to a water-based civilization, wouldn't you broadcast on the frequencies of water? Maybe it's just chemistry. Maybe it's just the sun boiling off the ice. But the symmetry is poetic and terrifying. And consider the structure of the tail. On November 8th, just before the anti-tail appeared, astronomers saw something else. The tail wasn't just a smudge. It was complex. It had structure. Images showed 4 or 5 distinct jets or streamers radiating out from the nucleus. Comets do have jets. When the sun heats a pocket of ice under the surface, it explodes out like a geyser. But usually these are random. They turn on and off as the comet rotates. These jets on 3I Atlas, they looked stable. They looked organized, like the exhaust manifolds of a massive engine. If you needed to steer a 5-kilometer wide rock through the gravity well of a star, you wouldn't just let the gas blow out randomly. You would channel it. You would direct it. Is that what we saw? A course correction disguised as outgassing? Remember, this object is huge. Early estimates said it might be up to 5 kilometers wide. That is a mountain floating in space. And it is dense. The way it moves, the way it resists the solar wind, it suggests it is heavy. Heavier than a loose ball of snow. If it has a metallic core, as the methanol production suggests, then it is a solid, heavy projectile. And it is moving with purpose. We missed the most critical moment. October 29th, perihelion, the moment it skimmed the surface of the sun. It was too close to the glare for us to see clearly with optical telescopes. We were blind. For a few days, 3I Atlas was alone with our star. What happened in that fire? We know it went in red. We know it came out blue. We know it went in quiet. We know it came out bright. Did it feed? There is a concept in theoretical physics called stellar refueling, using the atmosphere of a star to scoop up plasma to recharge energy cells. It sounds like science fiction. But look at the data. The object brightened significantly. It released a massive surge of energy, and its color shifted to the high energy end of the spectrum. Did we just witness a pit stop? And now, the Gardner theory. Let's go back to the idea of panspermia. If 3I Atlas is natural, it is a delivery system. It is spraying our solar system with water, carbon, methanol, and complex organic molecules. It is seeding us. But if it is artificial, what is it seeding? Is it dropping sensors? Is it leaving behind nanoprobes? As it passed Mars, as it passes Earth, is it leaving something behind in its wake? We see the dust. We see the gas. But would we see a swarm of microscopic monitors drifting down into our atmosphere? We wouldn't. We would just see a beautiful comet passing in the night. This is the part that haunts me. We are so proud of our telescopes. We think we see everything. But 3i Atlas has shown us how little we know. We argue about whether it's a rock or a ship, but maybe it's neither. Maybe it's a message we are too primitive to read. Maybe the methanol isn't fuel, and it isn't chemistry. Maybe the spectral lines are a code. Maybe the radio hum is a data stream, compressed and encrypted, beaming data back to where? Sagittarius? The center of the galaxy? We are looking at a finger pointing at the moon, and we are analyzing the dirt under the fingernail. We are missing the point. The point is, we are not alone. Whether 3i Atlas is a natural wanderer or an artificial voyager, it proves that the galaxy is connected. That matter, energy, and perhaps life flows between the stars. We are not an island. We are a stop on a highway, and traffic is passing through. But here is the saddest part of the story. We are letting it go. We have no mission ready. We have no rocket on the pad capable of chasing it down. The European Space Agency has the Comet Interceptor mission planned, but it's not ready for this. We are watching the discovery of the Millennium sail past us, and we are waving goodbye from the dock. Why? Because we weren't looking. Because we didn't expect it. Because we thought we had time. 3i Atlas teaches us one thing above all else. The universe doesn't wait for us to be ready. It happens, and if you blink, you miss it. So, what happens now? The show is ending. As December turns into January 2026, 3i Atlas will fade. It will drop from magnitude 11 to magnitude 14. It will become a ghost again, visible only to the most powerful eyes we have. And then, silence. The radio hum on the hydroxyl line will drop below the background noise of the galaxy. The blue glow will dim as it moves away from the solar wind. The jets will shut down, their job done. We will be left with terabytes of data. We will analyze the spectra of that methanol for years. We will model the trajectory deviations until our supercomputers burn out. We will write papers and argue at conferences, but there are things we will never know. And that is the hardest pill to swallow. We will never know what lies beneath that 20-meter crust. Is it just ice and rock? Or is there a structure etched into the core, waiting for someone to find it? We will never know if the anti-tail was just dust or a braking burn. We will never know if it saw us. Think about that. We spent months staring at it. Did it stare back? If it is a probe, did it scan our radio leakage? Did it map our atmosphere? Did it catalog the lights on the dark side of our planet? Maybe that's why it didn't stop. Maybe it saw enough. Or maybe, just maybe, it left a calling card. Astronomers are already planning to monitor the trajectory of the dust it left behind. The breadcrumbs. If 3i Atlas was a gardener, those seeds will eventually drift into our atmosphere. Maybe in 100 years, a meteor shower will bring pieces of it down to Earth. Maybe then, we will hold a piece of it in a lab. But until then, 3i Atlas remains a mirror. We look at it and see what we want to see. The skeptics see a rock. The dreamers see a ship. The fearful see a threat. But the universe doesn't care what we see. It just is. This was the third visitor. Oumuamua. Borisov. Atlas. 3 in less than a decade. The door is open. The traffic is increasing. Or maybe we are just finally waking up and looking out the window. Whatever it was, it has changed us. It has reminded us that the solar system is not a fortress. It is a bus stop. And the next bus is already coming. Will we be ready for number 4? If you want to stay updated on the analysis of 3i Atlas and be the first to know when the next visitor arrives, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Hit the like button if you believe we should be building a specialized interceptor mission right now. The universe is full of secrets, and we are just getting started. Good night, and keep looking up.